Ankh podcast. Thank you guys for coming. I think this is episode number 7 now, man. So we can give a nice round of applause for that there. Let me see if I can get one of these medias. Let me see. But anyways, I just want to be able to jump into this video. Today's a very serious topic, and today I just wanted to be able to come across this with you individuals that go ahead and watch, my podcast. This topic is very crucial, and it's very a sense of urgency in this time era, especially with everybody waking up. It's something that has to be more paid attention to. Even though with all these circulations and everything happening right now. But healing past relationships, reshaping our future, we are looking at from the male perspective and the female perspective. So I got a couple notes, I got a chart, and I'm going to go over this with you guys today. Nevertheless, I do these podcasts to heal myself with this and heal you guys, and we just all come together and, we all just hang out on YouTube, and we come onto these things, man. So I'm excited to be able to jump into this podcast, and we're simply just going to go over the pros and cons of what men go through and what women go through when they're trying to heal their relationships or their past relationship. Okay, so nevertheless, buckle up and let's get started, because this is going to be a great episode. This is the Healing Podcast, man. So let's do it, man. So men and women are often hurt differently, healing differently, and express pain differently. But both sides are carrying wounds they rarely talk about openly. Real healing starts when we start competing over who suffered more and start understanding why we both hurt the way we do. Let that sink in there, because many times when we're in relationships, when there is altercation, that's the stem of most relationships not going, further anymore. The altercations become literally competition. Who can hurt who can go lower on jabs, who can, say the worst thing, who can, it's always who can top who, instead of just shooting back and understanding neither of each other are the enemy, and we got to do this together and solve this together and get it together. So, and the funny thing about that word together, the way I learned how to spell that word is to get her. And ultimately for guys, that's what we have to do. We have to go get the woman. So when someone is together in the sense of a relationship, it's because the man went out and got the woman. I thought that was just cool to throw in there, man. So, all right, so we're going to start with the men. We're going to start with us, just simply because it's the first thing that's on my notes here. Male perspective. What men often go through when we go through relationship breakups or go through these cycles in life that only ultimately make us better. They only ultimately make us better, but ultimately, it's a lesson for us as well. So the insight goes like this. Many men are raised to hide emotions. And a lot of us pretty much are. We live in a culture where, men always have to be this prominent figure, which is very much true. But nevertheless, this culture and this systematic world that we live in makes us forget that we need to be heard too, right? How many of us haven't ever been heard and just keep everything inside? So these things, sit within inside of us, right? Society also teaches men to man up, stay quiet, and suppress pain. Absolutely, that goes hand in hand with men are being raised to hide emotions. Most of men are raised with single mothers. So when that's already a stigma and that's already a thing that's being done, a lot of these things and these character traits start circulating to the man, right? Because of this, many men heal through distractions instead of emotional progression. And that's very much true. I can attest to that, because whenever we get out of a relationship, it's not like, hey, we trying to heal. It's just like, okay, what can we get next to try to get me over this last girl? So that's one of the things that we have to do better at, fellas. And, it's across the board as well for the females, but we're talking about us right now. when we get out of a relationship, it's not time to go try to, go get some new cheeks. It's actually time to sit back, relax, reflect. And many of us, do that. That's why when we get out of relationships, we end up making more money. We end up getting more fit. We end up doing more that we actually wanted to do, because many times in the relationship, the man is the servant. Let's just put it like that. We the servant. We literally make sure that woman has a pedestal. And that's why that can be detrimental to us sometimes as men when we get out of relationships, because we do so much for the woman, right? We do so much, and we talk about, this trend, talking about the women say they're the prize. I truly believe we are the prize, but also the woman is the prize. This is why it's important to understand neither is better than one another, and we have to understand our roles, and we have to understand our strengths and weaknesses. So this is why I'm doing this video, but I hope you guys are tagging along and starting to see, where I'm coming from in this message here. Because of this, many men heal through distraction instead of emotional progression. The distraction could be going ahead to go find another girl, rather than actually having emotional progression, which is, all right, I just got out of this relationship. I don't think that was the best lead for me, serving me, and I'm glad I'm out of that relationship. What can we do better to be able, the next relationship we get to, be able to be the best fit for our lives? All right, fellas. So that's what I take away from that, and I hope you guys do too as well. Let's go on some examples now, right? So overworking, gym obsessions, isolations, acting emotional, unavailable, jumping into another relationship quickly, just like I was just saying. These are some examples that may make us distracted and not actually, emotionally progress, or actually does help us emotionally progress, right? Gym obsession is a great way to get your mind off of things, right? Isolation is a great way to step back and look at your decisions and do that shadow work. Acting emotionally unavailable can play its role, but not sustainable, right? We need some physical interaction, especially as a male. We need the woman. Like, there's some, scientific, studies that the woman actually heals the man's body in the sexual field. Because let's be honest, the woman is the only thing that brings the man down to his root chakra in the sense of sexuality and sexual energy. Because without the woman, we're not worrying about, vice versa, if anyone's gay or, those kind of things. But it all is the same in the sense of sexual energy, right? So jumping into another relationship quickly, like I said, never do that. I've done that, and it was hell. Literally, it was hell. I went from one relationship, got frustrated with the girl. Her communication level was just the worst ever. And it ticked me. I'm a Cancer, and communication is one of the biggest things that I love in a relationship. What's the point of a relationship if you don't have communication and clarity? So that drove me crazy off the rails. So dead to that relationship, then jumped right into one that was not for me at all. She was for the streets. But that's a little, that's for another podcast. But all right, so it says the deep line. A lot of men don't lack feelings. They lack safe spaces to express them. That's exactly what I was saying, in the sense of, like, we're the ones, we're the prize. We're the ones that actually love in a relationship hard. We take relationships serious, us men, because that's why 9 times out of 10 when relationships end, it's not the man's fault, it's the woman's fault. 9 times out of 10, divorces are initiated by women. It's just, we actually take it serious, because when we're a man and courting a woman, we have to protect her. We have to make sure she's good, because ultimately, if we do all that, we got coochie at the house, right? And they're also going to bear our kids. So it's like, it's very important for us to be locked in on one particular woman, but also, sometimes I feel men, we are not destined to be with one woman. That's a different topic for a different podcast, but a lot of men don't lack feelings. They lack safe spaces to express, because one thing that I can take away from all of my relationships, from my personal, is that every time that I've had a dispute with the woman that I were dating, they brought up shit that I told them when I was vulnerable. They brought up shit when, I was talking to them, letting them to know, like, where I come from. It's always good to have a balance in the conversation. You can't just tell everybody everything good. And that's what women kind of do. They always want to try to paint themselves the best way possible, and then when altercations or disputes or disagreements happen, you start seeing a whole nother woman. And that's the difference between man and woman. We're more logical. They're emotional. They're ruled by their emotions. And us men lack a safe space to express ourselves simply just because of that, because women will weaponize. They will weaponize. So with that being said, what is the healing factor that we can do? I recommend, fellas, just stay isolated. Figure yourself out. Build your empire, in a sense, is your career. Work out a lot. And then start doing more spiritual work on yourself. And then I promise you, just like I'm going through exactly what I just said, the woman, she'll still attract to you. She'll naturally come to you, and you will know. And that's the season I'm in. This is why I'm doing this podcast, because I want to be able to, align with the individuals that are out there. There's going to be a lot of people watching my podcast. I don't even know you, but you may pause the screen, or you may be smoking a blunt, watching, and tailoring to what I'm saying, and it's actually helping you. So that's why I do this podcast. That's why I do it. Congratulations, we homies now. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, moving along here. Fear of vulnerability. All right, that was the emotional expression of it. Now we're moving on into fear of vulnerability. Many men fear opening up because past vulnerability was used against them. Some become emotionally guarded after betrayal or rejection. Absolutely, that is definitely true. We literally go through that every single time we get in a relationship. Because once again, us men, we actually take relationships seriously. There are women that do as well. Don't just, I'm not just saying that, but what I'm saying is, when we look at the analytics and data, it is men that take relationships more seriously. All right? So, talking point here, men often suffer silently because they believe expressing pain make them weak. That is something that literally hits the bullseye. Like, that is one of the biggest things of why this society is today. Simply because men, we don't have anywhere to express, our feminine energy other than with a woman, right? When we talk about feminine energy, we're not talking about being gay. We'll be talking about feminine energy is a hug. Feminine energy is empathy. Feminine energy is understanding in the sense of love. Feminine energy is, pretty much those things that I express. It's not, what they, express gay as is for a man. And that's where a lot of us get misconstrued and misdirected with, because they say, if a man doesn't express himself in a matter that's not hard, then he's gay. And that's not the case at all. Some men stop expressing emotions because every time they did, they felt punished for it. And that's very much true in this society. So, just pause that, take a little thought on that, fellas, and, and try to paint a picture and put puzzles together on, where that is in your life. Like, the aha moment of when that happened in your life. And then think about how you can make that happen less, or sit with it and become better. Because that's what I do this podcast for. We're going to bring up these things, and then we need to graduate and become better. Self-healing, self-development, self-control in the sense of your higher self. Right? All right, moving along here. Men often tie worth to success. All right? We do this because simply we're the providers. So this is what this society is painted, but also used our energy to be able to make this seem like this is all that we're worth of. Many men believe love is earned through provision, status, or success. When relationships fail, men sometimes feel like personal failures. That is accurate. I can't tell you on my personal relationships on how many times that have came across, right? For instance, I was, a solar rep, and the past 2 girlfriends that I've had, I've tried to put them in the field of work. They have been successful, but, that job is pretty much hard. Times got hard, money started drying up, relationships started drying up just because I was frustrated financially, and I couldn't focus on my relationship because you need money to focus on a relationship. In the sense of America, yes, you absolutely do, right? You need money. The money allows everything to be sustainable, and when everything is sustainable, you can focus on the partner that you have, right? So I'm going through these things as well, right? Men believe love is earned through provision, status, or success. And sometimes that's not the case, but more than half of it is the case, because when us fellas go and acquire a woman, we have to pay for something. Rather it's food, drinks, making sure she good. If you really get in a relationship with her and you really like her, you know, I like paying for my woman's nails, because when she comes back home and them nails is looking all fleek, that came from me, baby. So, excuse me. I like doing those things, but should love be earned through provision, status, or success? Absolutely not, because love is free. Love isn't obtained to physical things, but the society that we're living in, it seems like we need that provision before we even talk to a woman. If you're broke, don't even talk to one. Don't even talk to one, because the woman's going to want to do activities and all that and so forth. All right, moving on here. Examples. Feeling replaceable, financial pressure, yes. Feeling unappreciated, yes. Loving confidence after heartbreak. It's losing confidence after heartbreak. These things are real life examples. And come on, fellas, I know you guys, comment down below if you've been through this. And I know you all have, because it's rough out here for us. This is why I'm doing this podcast, so we can go through this together as men and be able to see the other side and become better, because we have to lead this society into a better world, not just take what it is and never grow from it. All right. Deep line. A broken relationship can make a man question his value, purpose, and identity. Absolutely. Absolutely. How many of us felt that way after we messed with a girl and we gave her all and then she just played on us? I've been there. A broken relationship can make a man question his value, purpose, and identity. It's like, wait, hold up. I just did this, and this for this woman, and I know damn well any niggas she would have came across, they would have never done that. For example, for one of my girlfriends, and fellas do this too, start pitching up the woman that you dated, and then you start going through these things so we can analyze it, and we can make it, and we can come to a conclusion of saying that we have self-worth. We have a purpose. Our identity is worth every moment for that woman's life. Sorry, that's my air fryer. I don't know if you can hear it because it's not on the podcast. But what I'm saying here is that, in one of my relationships, I've literally revived one, right? She didn't have nothing. She was on the streets. Took her in, had a house. She was missing. It's crazy story. Took her back to her family, and the crazy part is this girl I knew her 2 years prior than finding her again after I got out of one relationship. See, that rushing and getting into another relationship isn't good. So I went through these things, right? And her parents had a beautiful house, 5-bedroom house, basement, all that, nice town, and she runs away from that just to be sleeping around. And unfortunately, I wasn't woke, understanding enough. I was going through the lessons. I was going through the field with it. And that girl, what I did for her was I brought her back to her family, gave her a house to live, brought her to church when I was involved religiously. This is about 5 years ago, religiously. And then, also I gave her own nail tech company. Like, I brought all her stuff, gave her everything that a man felt like he needed to do to upgrade his woman and upgrade his life as well, doing that as so. Also, paid for her body, got done. I went through all that, got played out. Yeah, got played out. So all that, I say all that to say, this is who I am today, But all right, that's enough of us fellas. I hope this podcast isn't running so long. We're going to have so much fun here. Let's go through the females now. And then lastly, there's going to be a chart that's going to give you a little bit more insight visually on how this actually is happening, all right? So, all right, let's kick it into the female perspective. What women often go through. Emotional exhaustion. Let's go. Insight. Women often carry emotional burdens slightly in relationships. Many women become mentally drained from consistently giving emotionally. It says many women become mentally drained from constantly giving emotionally. I can't look in the eyes of what a woman sees, but I'm reading based off of this. And a lot of relationships that I've been in, I haven't had emotional love in the sense of what it should be for me based off of who I am in my relationships from the women. I just feel like a lot of women that I dated didn't do no healing, and they just kind of passed the trauma on to me, right? But examples, they're saying over communicating, right? Feeling unheard. A lot of the women in relationships say that you just don't understand, you just don't get it, and they throw tantrums. I mean, I've seen tantrums on tantrums just basically off of the woman not getting the fact that the man don't think like them. I mean, I've seen tantrums, man. I've been through some, carrying the emotional responsibility. All right, that's with that's a lot of accountability that some of these women don't want to, take. And carrying the emotional responsibility, staying too long, hoping things improve. That right there, staying too long, hoping things improve. A lot of women have I heard online say these things in the sense of they're trying to change a man. First of all, half of the culture now is women dating broken men. This is why I'm doing this podcast. This is why I'm doing both perspectives. It's because a lot of us are broken and a lot of us need to be fixed. But the first thing that they always say when you're healing is to understand the underlying problem and then get to the solution by progressively acting towards it, by doing it one day at a time of evolving, and you get what I'm trying to say. All right, so staying too long, hoping things improve. A lot of these women talk about he ain't ish, or he ain't got nothing, or then they have his baby, and then they try to hold the baby as like a weapon towards the man, and like all these things, hoping to stay around until things improve. When you can't change a man, woman, you have to understand you cannot raise a kid. You cannot raise a man. You cannot raise him because our energies are so different that you can't raise a man based off of feminine energy of just a mother. That's exactly why there's supposed to be 2-parent households, because that just is what it is. But all right, deep line. It says some women don't leave because they stopped loving. They leave because they become emotionally exhausted. And women are emotional. They are literally the channel of emotions more than us. I have friends that are girls that literally will tell me one thing and in the next 2 seconds they want to do something else. I want this. Oh, never mind. We can go somewhere else. And then you go ahead and do what they want. Then they get mad when you go. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. This is why I'm doing this project. We need to understand women as men, and women, you need to understand men. So moving along here, women often crave emotional security. This is one of the biggest things that women plead, right? I want a man that can protect me, protect me, protect me, protect me. That's their biggest thing. And now in this culture, these women ain't worth protecting. Not to bash them, but I'm speaking based off of analytics and vision and actually playing the field. They don't deserve protection. More than half of these women these days are OF workers. You telling me that I should protect this woman here that's an OnlyFans worker that got her whole body exposed to the whole world? There's no respect in that. So that's just from them. I think it's like about maybe 75% of women these days are OnlyFans workers. If not, they own escort websites. It's bad out here. It's rough. This concubines, Lilith, and Jezebel's running everywhere right now. But many women value emotional consistency more than material things, right? Many women value emotional consistency more than material things. This is saying that women often crave emotional security. This is what this is saying. But from my analytics, they rather have physical things than emotional security. because I provided in my relationship emotional security in the sense of, never making them do anything that they don't want to do outside of themselves, right? I am big on free will. But the biggest thing about a man is that we are protectors. And if we find a thing in a way that we see we need to protect you, and you don't see it and you don't follow through with what we were saying, that's where the issue comes. So the emotional consistency can be there, but you have to give a man respect to make sure you got everything. And this is the woman part, but many women, they say, value emotional consistency more than material things. I can digress on that, man. Lack of reassurance, communication, or emotional presence creates distance. Lack in reassurance, communication, or emotional presence create distance. I mean, I think it's opposite these days. It's just hard to paint a picture of a woman these days. A lot of them it's hard to paint a picture, and this is why we're doing this video, so we can understand. I mean, women, comment down below, tell us more about yourself, or who you are. But based off these notes here, it's sounding like the opposite of what y'all actually want. Lack of reassurance, communication, or emotional presence creates distance. Well, in reality, us men, we always trying to emotional presence. What do you need, babe? Is there anything that we can do? What do you want to do? How many times is us fellas, we ask the girl what they want to do? It's because we know if we don't get what they want, they start acting out. Those are the women that we shouldn't be involved with, but more than half in the handful act like that. If you don't give them what they want, then they're going to make sure your ass get help. And that shouldn't be the case. But talking point, a woman can feel lonely even while in a relationship. I don't know how that can happen. These are the points that they're saying. A woman can feel lonely even while in a relationship. I don't know how. But if she is, I guess, being that woman for that man, then why would she feel lonely? In the sense of like, okay, if she's loving him, he's loving her, what is the loneliness? I mean, you still are an independent woman in the sense of you still have the things you like to do, right? I mean, you can't feel lonely if you still connect with yourself. Every woman wasn't with a man before, so I don't know. These are just talking points that they say. Deep line, physical presence means nothing when emotional presence is missing. That's interesting there. That's very interesting. All right. And healing after betrayal insights. Okay, so this is important. This point right here is very interesting. Women often internalize betrayal deeply. Trust issues can affect future relationships, confidence, and self-worth. Bingo. That's exactly why this whole culture of women are distorted, used up, and spit out like a used car. Because a lot of us niggas, over time, none did those things to them. And not to say that us men ain't shit, but in every category of life, there's duality. There's good and bad. But these women decide to go with the niggas that ain't ish. The NBA YoungBoy type guys. You know what I'm saying? That whole genre of black men they decide to go with, which ends up creating these issues, right? Am I not right, or am I not wrong? Right? I mean, most of the time when women have things that they don't like that's created is from them. The women love putting themselves through trauma. Examples: overthinking, anxiety, guard behaviors, fear of being hurt again. So this is just painting a picture of the women give so much love to the man that, they start putting up these barriers and these walls to where they aren't going to give every man the same opportunity again. But then we live in a culture where women are literally subjectifying and sexualizing themselves, creating more and more lustful men to come after them. And then when they get the opposite when they get the stick of what they didn't want, then it's a surprise, right? You can't sexualize and subjectify yourself in lust. And then when men come around, you expect them to be, all sunflowers and and rainbows and butterflies. No, you're going to come exactly what he's coming for. You show him the skin, you show him that, he's going to come for that. You show them love, peace, prosperity. You show development and show some wit and some woman in you. Then you're going to attract the men that like, all right, I'm going to step back. She not one of those that I go and attack and just go crack and leave. She's one that I spend time with and get to know. It is, woman, if you get anything from this video, it is what you present yourself as, because you are the product. If you present yourself over sexually, of course, you're going to get niggas that just want to have sex. But if you present yourself in a way that is harmonious and respectful, then of course you will go ahead and get that man. A lot of women, your problems stem from you. A lot of your problems, women, stem from you. Because remember, us men, we always got to attain the woman. And when we attain the woman, we know. Excuse me. We know if we want to deal with her or not based off of the first 5 minutes. So if you're getting anything from this video today, women, just understand a lot of the problems and issues that you come across in your relationships are from you. You chose the wrong nigga. You're not giving the right attention. It's a whole bunch of things, because us men, we really are simple. And honestly, if y'all really was the ones that pulled up on us, it would be a lot more easier. You know, because now in this era, we don't know if woman is serious at all. We don't know. I'm at the point, if I have a girl, if I'm interested in a girl and if she even has an Instagram, I don't want her. You know why? Because every girl that has an Instagram, just look at her DM. You don't even gotta be, every girl's getting messages. Every girl. All you gotta do is post a picture with some skin showing and your DMs is flooded. So this is the things that we're dealing with, you know, as men, you know. The market is hard and all this stuff. All right, the truth about both sides. Key insights. Men and women both suffer. They just express it differently. You know, men may hide pain, right? Women may express pain openly. And we see that all the time. That's why a lot of these women are starting to get aggressive and fight niggas in public and punching and disrespecting and talking in their face in public. We see it. They express it. Let's say side heals properly without communication, accountability, and self-awareness. Yes, accountability and self-awareness is what we have to heal to, right? And a lot of women, you don't like accountability. Y'all allergic to it. And I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm bashing women on here. I don't even think I am. I'm just pointing it out. You know, there's one thing bashing, but if you point it out, you know, we got to point out. And then self-awareness, right? Self-awareness of who you're dating, what you're getting with this individual. Don't just date because someone look good or they can provide you this, and this. Many women date just because they see what a man can provide, and then they never really mold into a real couple because it was all based off of materialism. Never love. All right, so strong point here. Healing relationships require understanding, not ego battles. All right. Neither of us are the enemy to one another. We are here and we are playing this game together. All right. So whatever thing that's going on in a relationship, remember, ladies and gentlemen, you guys love each other and you're trying to do this thing of life. All right. Strong points. Healing relationships require understanding, not ego battles. No more ego battles. Deep line. Healing begins with both sides. Stop trying to win the argument and start trying to understand the pain. That's right. No more. You said that. Yeah. You. Look, it's a friction in between. None of y'all are hearing each other. You're just throwing insults, making each other feel bad. So no point ever really gets heard, and nothing ever happens but more anger and resentment towards each other. So we have to learn to be able to begin when both sides stop trying to win with arguments and start trying to understand the pain. Understand the pain. Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I didn't know that was actually that important to you. I apologize for not even looking into that. I totally misunderstood that. You know, woman in the other case, we need to hear more situations like that. Have I ever been in a relationship where a woman said, you know what, I was wrong, babe. I apologize. You know, I shouldn't have gone out of pocket like that. I barely hear. That is crazy. I never hear a woman stand 10 toes and say, I'm sorry to their man, and then they after. I mean, at least I haven't came across any. You know, maybe that's not in the United States, but I don't know. But What men need to learn: emotional intelligence, communication, vulnerability without ego, consistency, accountability. What women need to learn: boundaries, self-worth, healing before entering new relationships. That's big for you women. Not ignoring red flags. That's big for you women because, like I said, y'all will date them NBA young boy niggas and trying to raise them like they your kid and then get mad when he, hit on TT and go, steal something from somebody. Emotional balance. Find that emotional balance because, woman, you have a jealous and chaotic spirit. And when that is not harnessed, all hell can be unleashed on the man, and that's not what you want to keep doing. All right, strong conclusion to this. And then we're going to wrap this video up with this image I want you guys to see, right? Men and women are both carrying invisible pain from the past relationship. Some hide in their silence, others express through emotions. But true healings happen when both sides stop viewing love as a battle and start viewing relationships as a place for growth. Understanding peace and evolution and prosperity. Hey, nothing else I need to add to that. That's straightforward. Final conclusion for this video here. Maybe healing isn't about proving who hurt more. Maybe it's about making sure the pain doesn't turn us into people incapable of healthy love. Whoo, that's a key right there. Maybe healing isn't about proving who's hurt more. Maybe it's about making sure the pain doesn't turn us into people incapable of healthy love. And that's what this culture has done. Making people become incapable of healthy love. And everyone's hurt out here and everyone's trying to look for love, but no one's doing the work. And that's exactly why I did this video, to be able to show you guys what's actually there. So, all right, let me share my screen here. This is the photo that I wanted to show you guys. Healing past relationships, reshaping our future. Understanding both sides, healing together, growing strong. You guys can pause this video. From the male perspective, common struggles, suppression emotions, fear of vulnerability, ties self-worth and success, distraction to avoid pain, difficult expressing needs. Our pros: strong sense of loyalty, willing to protect and provide, driven and solution-oriented, values respect and trust, often committed with when healed. Right? Our cons: battles up emotions, avoid deep conversations, can become distant, use ego instead of communication, struggle to ask for help. That is so true, right? And then for women, here's the common struggle: overthinks and overanalyzes, hell yeah, emotional exhaustion, seeks resurrections constantly, stays too long hoping things change, struggle with trust after betrayal. All right, so the pros: deeply caring and nurturing, absolutely, emotionally intuitive, yes, loyal and supportive, the right woman, strong communicators, great at building connection. These are all pros of the right woman, but most of these women out here don't even do 3 of these things on here, right? So cons: can overthink or overfeel, may ignore red flags, can become emotionally reactive, yes, holds on even when unhappy, struggles to let go of the past. Absolutely. So this is a nice chart you guys can look at from both sides. And I hope you guys have a great time on this podcast. I hope I hit some points. I hope I did a great job. And yeah, peace out, love, and all those kind of things, man.